Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Alright, we recording. Here we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Fuego here.
Marcia Parker!
That's
Woo!
right, we are joined remotely by Marcia Parker because she is being responsible and not coming over when she has been exposed to a cold, because I am like a couple of days away from having a wee baby Cecil. And don't want to risk passing anything on, but we didn't want to hold off on this review because this is something we just want to talk about. This is our review of the 15th and final season of Supernatural.
So
this is a show that we have covered in numerous different ways over the years. We've covered certain seasons. We have done 2 separate super duper Supernatural panels that we have recorded.
We were hoping to do a third and final.
We're hoping to do a
this
third.
past
We'll be
summer.
doing a version of a third
Yeah.
in a separate podcast that we'll all do together.
And who knows, maybe next summer, we could do one at Fan Fusion again. It's always a possibility. No, you don't want to?
I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go back at that point. There'll
Okay.
be more to talk about at that point. But
Alright.
nonetheless,
Oh, I didn't know that.
we will be doing a podcast talking about the series as a whole. And as Marcia suggested in our personal message feed, we'll talk about some favorite moments and things like that. Just sort of an all-around...
Bless you.
Pardon
I would
me.
say, I would say like what Supernatural means to us.
Yeah, an
I think
all-around
it's a good-
Supernatural
Yeah.
retrospective
Yeah.
from the horror
15
show.
years of my life just down the drain.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that.
Not down the
but-
drain per se.
Not down the drain.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
15 years of my life just dead and gone.
Yeah, I actually had a
I
friend.
mean, that's not much better, but...
I don't have it anymore. They're not making any more episodes.
Yeah,
It's dead and gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that a friend of mine who's also a diehard of this show, she was like, I haven't brought myself to watch those final 2 episodes because 2020's been rough enough as it is, and so for my favorite show to also be ending, that wasn't their intention going into it.
The second to
but-
last, you can watch and be fine.
Yeah, because episode 20 is pretty much an epilogue as I see it, and I feel like 19 was the series finale, and then 20 is an epilogue, so...
So yes, guys, we're here to talk about the final season of Supernatural, and it's going to be a little bit of raw talk. We'll try and
Spoilers?
avoid major spoilers and things like that, but we got to talk about it. So after this much coverage, I will start off and say that I really enjoyed season 15. It's really interesting. The last 5 years of the series, season 11 is still my favorite. Season 13 was really awesome. Then season 15 was really awesome. Yeah. So they adhered to the Star Trek rules of awesomeness.
Exactly, the one on, one off, one on, one off.
Yeah, the odd numbers, no less.
Yeah, because even season 10 with Demon Dean and stuff, I was like, this is okay, but I mean, 11 was just fantastic.
Or is it even numbers in Star Trek? I can't remember.
Boy, that's a good question.
Because Wrath of Khan, everyone loves
It's
Wrath of Khan.
okay.
That
It
was
is
I don't
even
know.
numbers in Star Trek, but really it's the whole one-on, one-off kind of thing.
Yeah, so season 15 followed suit. I think season 15 was excellent. It was a wonderful send-off. It was a excellent wrap-up for the overall Supernatural story that they had crafted for themselves by the time this season had arrived. And I really enjoyed it, my overall thoughts. Robert?
No, I definitely I enjoyed the hell out of season 15. Excuse me, bear with me. Season 15 tremendously, but again, it was very bittersweet because again, like I've been watching this show since day one that it aired 15 years ago, and now it's all over. Like I don't know what the hell to do with myself.
So much
anymore.
older.
Yeah.
How much wiser, hopefully.
Yeah, I was 15 when this damn show came out. Like, it's all right.
Shut up.
We'll get you that hip replacement soon.
Yeah, overall thoughts with me. I mean, listen,
that's really just
jump
kind of
over
short
you,
and
man.
sweet, really.
Yeah, I was late to the party on this show, as Cecil and Marcia both know, and the fact that I had heard a lot of good stuff about it from friends, but I didn't really start watching until about 4.5 years ago when we were tasked with doing that first Phoenix Comic-Con panel, and I binged 11 seasons in like 4 months or some craziness like that. Fell in love with the show, and for me, 15 with some of the lore maybe being fresher in my head than with you and Marcia, and you, Robert, as well, if you've been watching since first day, I found this to be a very satisfying finale. Episode 19 felt like the proper send-off, and we got a bonus episode 20 that a lot of people debated as whether it was necessary or not. I honestly loved it, but I've seen a lot of other people talk smack. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, obviously, but I found 15 with just getting to the culmination of some stuff that goes all the way back to like seasons 4 and 5 in some cases was really satisfying. I loved 15. I thought it was great.
Marcia.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every season, even with the seasons that were a little below. Like
12.
These are my stories. Like this, like women watch soap operas. I watch Supernatural. Like this is my story. I mean, people came alive and then they died and they came back and then it's great. You know, I think they did a good job bringing back people that they needed to bring back. Sam Dean got to experience those moments they've been longing for in their lives, and that's not, to say like how about the ending or anything, which is like throughout the season they got redemption and they got to face their demons and they got to really see who they were separately and together, and just work through a lot of stuff and work through a lot of family drama if you want to talk some closure there. So they did close the loopholes and a lot of things as best as they could at this point. They closed a lot of those doors that were open, which is, at least they touched and they found a solution to them. Were they all awesome? Nah, they could have done a little bit better, but at the end of the day, you're not going to make everybody happy because everybody's sad that they're, it was the end. But for the last season for a series like this, I think they did a phenomenal job because there's been a lot of franchises that failed at the last season. So I want to say thumbs up, and they really gave the fans what they deserve, which I wouldn't expect anything less than this franchise.
So just really quick to touch on the story without trying to spoil anything. I mean, this is, at this point, not spoiling season 15, but by the end of 14, you know that season 15, at this point, after 15 years, what big bad do you have for a season that is bigger than God himself? So that is the big bad for the season. They're trying to figure out how to defeat him while while incorporating, I should say, Amara from season 13 or
11.
11. Oh, 11 was Amara's season.
11 was Amara. Yeah, the darkness.
that's
versus
right.
light. Yeah,
that's right. So they brought back that. They brought back characters from all throughout the seasons, including, of course, Sheriff Jody and
Tana came back. Yeah, I think we had Claire at one point too, if I remember, or maybe that was previous season 14. But
a number of people came back, and it was just sort of a final farewell while also building up, the big fight and how are they possibly going to defeat God himself. And I enjoyed how the season played out. I thought story-wise it made sense, and I thought it didn't waste a lot of the opportunity that they had set up, honestly.
No, I'll definitely agree with that one. This goes back with like the overall ending of the season is going like I said earlier, it was very bittersweet, but we got that nice closure and resolution for the characters of what they've been longing for since we were introduced to them, like that their rest, in a sense, their happiness. And it was nice to finally see, like what Marcia was saying earlier, like you're not gonna make everyone happy. And I've been seeing a lot of people getting pissed about like the ending and stuff like that, but for how they did it, I do agree. This is probably the best ending and probably the best way that they could have ended this series for how long that they have been going on. And yeah, like some of the seasons were lackluster compared to the others. And I don't remember which one you guys were saying it earlier, but yeah, might have been Marcia, of a lot of series die harder on their final seasons. This one, I think it definitely redeemed itself and kept its quality in these last final moments.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was very torn up at the last couple episodes, specifically the very end of 19 with the Jackson Browne song, Running on Empty, and looking back at the years gone by and this montage that they do there of the whole series. I cried maybe as much watching that as I did some stuff that happens in the final episode, but I was very satisfied.
This final episode.
Yeah, and addressing the final episode without spoiling, I like the fact that it was more scaled down. You know, very much like the first season of the show.
Back to the pilot episode.
Well, here's
really.
okay. So cool little thing. So apparently, at the very end, the license plate is the original from the first season. So it's like, yeah, those nice little tidbits and everything.
Even as agents, weren't they like Kripke and
the creators,
Kripke and Singer,
yeah, which I thought was great. And that's one thing without it's not really a spoiler, but Eric Kripke said that the creator of the show said that he thought they went with the smarter idea that was going to be a fan pleaser for a finale instead of what he wanted to do, because he was like, I'm not going to tell you guys what I wanted to do, but my idea to end the show, it's a horror movie.
He would have
it's a horror
everybody.
show.
Yeah.
He would have done something.
Yeah, he would have butchered
more
the entire
effed
world.
up, so.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, keep that in mind, because he's kind of a cynical guy when I saw some of his stuff. But you do get a family member that comes back, and this is stuff story-wise that had been lying in wait. They mentioned it in episode 200. They're like somebody who's still in the cage, and you knew that was the ace up their sleeve without getting super spoilery, that they had to inevitably come back to. It was just there's no way around it. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was good, especially with the way they handled that same character from an alternate universe in a previous season that I wasn't as into. So
because that was actually the most fleshed out that we got of that character, and basically the most
since 5, yeah.
Really in the entire series, like that was the most that we had of that character.
Yeah, and I also liked some of the stuff with the Empty and the new Reaper woman, and I also liked that they wrote in
Billy,
yeah, and the fact that they also wrote in. Oh goodness, the girl who was that later version of Meg and calling Cassio Clarence and stuff, yeah, and she has MS, which is really sad, but it's awesome that she's still trying to work, and even though they had her seated for most of those instances where she was basically the personification of the Empty, I was really happy that they wrote that into the stuff when we got to see her character again. Eileen coming back was also cool. So yeah, there was a lot of like deep dive fan pleasing moments in the writing. So I was quite satisfied.
Marcia, how about your story?
I agree. I think that, like you said, there's only one way they could go, and they kind of been setting it up for a while. And I was pleasantly surprised on how they made it work for them, and how they were able to kind of give us some surprises along the way, like some things you weren't really expecting they were going to do, which is, kind of like bringing people back, and then they kind of weren't there anymore, which I thought was interesting. But there was a lot of fun moments too. They had a lot of the kind of quirky meta moments in there. And I really wanted Ghost Spacers. Or Ghost Spacers or whatever.
Like a season or two ago, if I remember.
There was a mention, and I was so hoping, like, can they bring them back just for a second? But no, they didn't bring them back. So that was disappointing. But anyway, it was good to see a lot of other things. And I think they did a good job pulling everything together and actually closing the door, just like, okay, this is the end. There's no open endings, and this isn't a gotcha, no Scooby-Doo moments. This is like, hey, we did our deed, and now we're done. And I thought they did it in a great way. And I like the way they used the previous seasons and the lore to end the story, and were able to give the fans what we're looking for. So yeah, it was a good job.
Now, as far as acting goes, Marcia, why don't you start off on this one rather than waiting till the end? How did you think the acting was through season 15 for everyone, really? Again, we know it's the last, so they've built up quite an arsenal of acting talent at this point.
Yeah.
So, the acting was, it was flawless. The way they all especially the main crew, right? I mean, you're going to get the side characters, the red shirts that die, and you're like, okay, good, they're gone. But other than that, everybody did a really good job. And one thing I noticed that I don't know if anybody else picked on was like Jack. The actor who played Jack seemed to portray Jack more as like Castiel's, like a Castiel, right?
Mm-hmm. He was so aloof.
Right, like he, like almost like original Castiel was, where he's just kind of like blank slate, but still with it. It was very interesting because I'm like, man, they really play. Like I'm like, is he Misha's son? Like, am I missing something?
But ultimately, it made sense for where the character ends up. Honestly, it really does.
Right.
The blank slate of it all. I was like, wow, that is actually pretty impressive.
It was also cool to see him cut loose in those first couple episodes as a different character, wearing the sunglasses and everything. I thought that was, it showed just how different he could go as an actor, and I mean almost like Demon Dean, you know, in season 10. So just letting him play very off character, or even when Sam was possessed, and I mean various incarnations of when our typical characters were able to just stretch and do whatever the hell, something totally different. So
yeah, and his story arc over the season was brilliant. You know, like I mean, I would almost say like the season was about his story arc, and everybody else was kind of playing along, which was, you don't realize that until the end. So I like that. But no, I think everybody was fantastic. That was the only big thing of the acting that I noticed was like, man, he's really trying to portray Castiel for some reason. I don't know. That was it.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, the acting's pretty awesome at this point. It's 15 seasons. They know how to pick actors and not take risks and stuff like that, as far as on, you know, actors that might not portray things perfectly. So I don't have any complaints about the acting at all. I thought everyone was great.
No, same. And basically, I'm kind of bring up the same thing as like what Marcia talked about Jack. He was actually more my favorite character on the acting wise for this season. Just because, like, again, like what she was saying is he did have kind of that blank slate that I don't like. He doesn't really know much about the world, but he's trying to do as good as what he can. But at times he still keeps fucking up and whatnot. But I don't know. I definitely liked how they arced Jack, and even like I would definitely probably say between the last half of 14 and then this season was definitely more so about Jack.
No,
I would definitely.
And the relationship between Jack and Dean too.
Yeah,
there's some solid
because they've always had bit kind of, again, like that. Well, in the sense
Dean never trusted
with Dean,
him.
he's had that
First,
love-hate kind of thing with Jack, especially after what happened with Mary. So.
Yeah, and obviously rightfully so. I didn't like Jack when he first popped up in 13. It took me a while to kind of warm up to his character, because he did seem almost like kind of a cast retread, but mixed in with some aspects of the younger brother of Sammy. But yeah, he was great. Since we haven't touched upon it yet, and this isn't spoilery because you find out at the end of season 14 when they play that awesome Motorhead song, you know, God Was Never on Your Side, I believe is what it's called. I thought the actor who plays Chuck, his name is eluding me, but seeing him take a villain...
Rob Benedict?
I think so. Maybe, I think that's it.
I think it's Rob Benedict.
Seeing him take a villainous turn was really just intriguing, I must admit, because he still had that same wormy, like, snarkiness and stuff to him. He almost had some aspects of, was it Metatron? He was
It's basically like a small man syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah, but the stuff with him and Amara, the couple scenes that they had, I thought were great, and there is a final fistfight confrontation, and just some of the dialogue delivery from him.
No,
I mean,
great.
he
So
was.
why are you smiling?
He was awesome in this season. He also has another episode where he reconfronts his number one fan, and she's married and with her family and stuff, you know, back when she thought he was just a writer of Supernatural, you know, and that's the one thing that I wish they could have gone a little more into the meta-ness in this final season. They kind of abandoned that in the last few with these new showrunners and stuff, aside from maybe like the Scooby-Doo show. But yeah, Chuck's portrayal in this really, I feel like that, and also the reemergence of another actor, was really the only way to go. And that unnamed actor coming back from season 5, I thought also did a great job, better than in that previous season, especially with the internal struggle going on with him, without spoiling. So those are two I wanted to make sure we addressed, and I was happy Garth came back too.
Well, not only that, but
that episode was great.
Yeah.
but our buddy Mark Pellegrino
Yeah, Pellegrino.
showing back up. That was exciting too.
Yeah, whether he was Nick or whether he was back to it. I'm trying to remember if it was this season or 14 where he was like, "Come on, don't you know nobody's ever really dead in this thing, in this world?"
Well, that's the
or
nice thing
whatever.
about Supernatural, and I've said it even like from the first couple seasons. Like, nobody's truly dead in this show. It doesn't matter who you are, what little role you had. You always have that chance of coming back for something bigger and better.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
sorry, go ahead, Marcia.
Sorry. Whether it be actual living or a pack sequence or just
Exactly.
a flashback or another dimension, like they'll find a way to bring you back if it fits the story.
I would say,
The
yeah.
fans are crazy. So
Yep.
Yeah, with Charlie and Bobby specifically, and Kevin, who we saw a couple seasons
I
ago.
was really
too,
happy
I mean,
when they brought Charlie back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I was super pissed.
She's
when
a little
she was
more
killed by
hardened, it's a little bit
Frankensteins.
different, but
yeah. It wasn't our Charlie, but it was still.
Well,
good.
yeah, it was still Charlie, but you know.
yeah, just like the Bobby we'd seen for the most part, we get to
Yeah.
see the older Bobby
Mhm.
again without getting too into it, and I was really, that made me happy.
Where's
But
Jo-
I mean,
where's Joe?
effects wise and cinematography wise, sound design wise, all of that is all fantastic. I mean, we don't really need to dive into that. It's all pretty. It would all be pretty repetitive as far as. Yes, it was really good. This.
well, they didn't lose quality. They
No.
maintained, which was they didn't lose that money. They
And
used
the-
the money the way they should.
Also, nice thing, even like if you look at it after season 4 or 5, like they kept very consistent with their quality, especially on practical.
Aside
I
from maybe
wanted
the
to-
Leviathan look, but I still love
well,
that.
that was CG.
I still love
Alright,
that.
that was
season,
CG.
So I wanted to at least touch on this. Now, that's going to do it essentially for our overall review of season 15. A very successful final season to a show. I would say that the season finale, quite honestly, the season finale jumps into my top 5 series finales of all time.
Same.
I think it really is. It was beautiful what they did. It was unexpected
Yeah.
what they did and how they did it. And you can even see, so this is what I wanted to get to. So both Fuego and I recorded reactions to the actual episode, and I edited mine no less than 12 times, and it was blocked every single time. And then Fuego ran into a similar issue. So what I'm going to attempt to do is put some of our best reactions at the end of this review, since we can't put them up. But you'll see that I went from, wait, what? To, wait, what?
That scene.
Like,
yeah.
this is how it's happening? And then, like, you see
Oh,
me
God, yeah.
lose it. And then you see me adjust through the back half. And then you see me lose it all over again when it happens later with a very important father-son bond,
Yeah.
which I'm about to have my son. And so it hit me on a particular level where I was like, just dying, and like, I couldn't share that with anyone because you two kept blocking it. So I don't know that I'll be able to use the actual footage that we're reacting to, but you'll see us reacting and how it genuinely affected us, because it caught me completely. Like, I saw the setup. I saw the shot where they reveal the thing that is the demise implement, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then it just happens so fast, and then it's like, wait, really? Oh, this is it? And that's why you literally see me go, wait, what? Like, I literally have to, like, recalibrate.
I'm sure
while I'm watching.
everyone had that same
Well,
reaction.
I'm
'cause
curious, Marcia.
Yeah.
Before we get to us here, Marcia, you jump in. What was your reaction, since you didn't actually record one? Let everyone know what your reaction was, because I unfortunately said it was
Mine
beautiful,
was-
it was
mine
sad,
was
and
like-
whatnot. But go ahead.
No, mine was like, what the F? Are you effing kidding me? That is not the way that should have happened.
So
That
you
was
were upset by it, like, but not in
very
a,
much.
but you were
because-
upset in a betrayed way, but not in like a
I
kind
don't
of way.
see. And okay, if you want to, I understand what they were trying to do, right? Because in the world of Supernatural, that is what he would want to have happened and how it would have happened. But the way it went down was just like, really? Like,
Well, but it kind of
Yeah,
made sense.
like-
they were so
I
overconfident
disagree.
after
I
so many
disagree.
years of having all of this backup,
Which they
having
didn't have
Kaz to
anymore.
fix them all the time, having this to do this all the time and having that, they were no longer in that world.
I'm so mad because it shouldn't have been him. It should have been the other one because F the other one.
I am
Marcia's anything if not constant.
I'm also Team Dean, but being the
No,
older brother,
because
being the protector.
I feel like I would have been happier if the other one didn't get what he wanted. So I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean, there was.
as soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what they're gonna do. And then they played that out, and I'm like, okay. And then at the very, very end, I was emotional just because of the resolve, as you would say, because that was, I mean, it's about their relationship at the end of the day.
Yes.
And
not about
that's
that's
what moved me the most was at that point because it's about their relationship at the end of the day. And so I let everything else go, but I was so like from the moment that one thing happened to the very end, I was gonna like, but I did like some of the. I don't know if this is spoiler or not, but I like some of the choices that were made for a certain person for his spot, his final spot. Mm-hmm. I thought there was a couple of moments there, and the location of his forever home and his
and who was his neighbors.
Mm-hmm. And the way they explained how it worked. I thought that warmed my heart. I felt like that they earned their place. So for that, I was okay. But yeah, I was not happy. But like I said, you can't make everybody happy. Yeah, and I understand the logic, and I understand the logic behind it. They were giving the happy ending that they deserved, right?
I agree. Yes, but. A lot of people would say that's not the happy ending. The happy ending would have had
the end of
Okay, guys, we're about to cross over into kind of spoilery territory, so feel free to shut it off if you don't want. But
it's happening.
Shut it off if you don't want to spoil. But yeah,
it's all happening.
So we lost Dean in a very mundane way. They're fighting a group of vamps, and one of them knocks him into a blade that's attached to a pillar. And he gets run through, and he has to say his goodbye to Sam right there because they don't have Castiel to heal him anymore. They don't have anyone to make deals with anymore.
Which is why it felt so much like the very beginning
first
of the
season where they didn't have any of that.
Have all that backup.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so appropriate.
Back to basics.
They had a wonderful little goodbye, and it. Okay. Fuck. God damn it.
Yeah,
I can't talk about it without, but when Dean said, Sam, don't leave me alone, and he just says, just tell me it's gonna be okay. And Sam just
that
has
it's okay that I leave.
Yeah, and Sam just has to swallow it and says, it's okay, Dean, you can go now. And that fucking crushed me, dude. Still crushes me.
That was really sweet because, like, I mean, if you know the show, and you know their relationship, you know Dean, he cannot let go. He could not let go until he heard that Sam was gonna be okay. And they have been setting it up to where, like, you knew. I mean, he's the hero. He's the hero that would always have to be the one that died. Like, he was the one who was gonna have to die because he was not gonna stop until he was dead. And Sam couldn't live the life he wanted, the one he's been trying to get to his whole life, until Dean let him go. So, and that's why I said, overall, like, it makes sense that they went that way because that's the way it should go. But at the same time, like, really? A piece of rebar? That's how they're going to kill off Dean? Like, so cheap.
Well,
but
I know a lot of people felt like it would have been
better
were lucky
for his character 15 years, dude. Like, they should have
died
so many times.
Yeah, because this is actually, I think
they did die so many times.
The longest running American sci-fi series to date.
Yeah,
So,
in North America.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
man,
right.
like it was really impactful, and then getting to see like
I think
Dean
this-
gets to heaven,
Yeah.
and like that's not the end of Dean. So thank God he gets to see our Bobby.
Even the scene in between,
You know,
though,
not alternate universe Bobby.
even the scene in between where it was Sam by himself back at the bunker, and he's like looking in Dean's room, and he
Oh, yeah.
sees the
And,
two
with
liquor
the-
bottles,
and he's rubbing the
there's
dog and everything.
Yeah, and
Oh
there's
my
that
God.
song playing, you know, about, you know, loss of brothers in arms and all this different stuff. Like, I was crying just as hard during that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fact that,
that
Sam was pulled into this because of Dean, and he has that opportunity to go on another mission after Jody refers that guy in Texas to him. And he just closes everything
He
down.
turns
and
all the
just
lights off in the
pieces
bunker.
out, and you just
I even
kinda
said in my
knew
reaction, I'm like, he's not intending to come back.
He's gone. He's gone.
No, you could tell right then and there. And it was basically,
Yeah.
I don't even think. Obviously, they don't allude to it, but I don't even think he went to that job.
No, I don't think he went on another
I think
mission.
He's
He
just,
was
I'm
done
with everything because
Yeah.
it had them like at least the next day.
That's
or
a good point. I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
he probably
I didn't
just
think
skipped
he
that.
did.
Yeah.
I
Because,
think
like,
he just pieced out and
this
was
was,
done
like-
with that life.
and like I
then
said
and
And then he
earlier-
had little Dean.
Yeah,
Little
well, like I
Dean
said,
on
like
his-
this
on
is
his,
like the
shirt.
ending was very bittersweet because both these characters got their closure and the rest that they wanted. Like Dean had his piece. Like he even said numerous times throughout the series, like he's tired. He wants to just end it and just be done.
Well, and at the end of 5, he had his chance at that life of
Well,
not
with
being
Lisa
in
and
it,
Ben and
you
everything,
know?
but look
Yeah.
how Carly fucked that all up.
And then they
Yeah.
had to hammer it home again when Sam was gonna go
yeah.
in his deathbed, and his son said, "It's okay, you can go."
Well, see, and
They-
that was a
Yeah.
nice thing though.
I even say in my reaction, I was
They-
like, "They put us through one, now they got to put us through the other one dying
Yeah.
too."
But
Fuck.
here's the thing, though. Even with that, even with Sam getting his full life and everything, his family, everything that he wanted, his son still at the end had the anti-possession.
Yeah, he
state.
passed it on.
So technically,
There's a possibility,
It's a
I
possibility that he didn't. That Winchester lineage isn't done.
No.
And there's
of course not.
obviously
No, he's gonna
networks
keep
of all
hunting, yeah.
kinds of other hunters.
Well, that's the
and
thing, though.
stuff
But,
out there.
Because that's what
With-
that's what Dean made him say. He's like, "Because promise me you'll never stop." He's like, "Don't stop."
yeah, but even still, though, with how much that like the character of Sam didn't want to be in the family business.
See, I don't think he walked away.
No.
No, I don't
You
think he
don't?
walked away.
That's
I think
what
he
I was
kept fighting,
speculating.
and then he
Yeah.
passed it on to his son because he promised Dean. He's like, "Promise me you'll keep fighting." Dean even says that, and that's why his son had the thing because he
Yeah.
trained him to
Maybe.
be the next hunter.
Yeah, the fact that he went in and sat down in the
He had to
vehicle,
have
though,
kept
like
fighting.
Oh, but
hadn't
say
been
technically
in-
they were in Bobby's old house.
Yeah, he definitely
Like,
kept fighting.
That's where he was in the deathbed.
He
was
definitely
Bobby's
kept
old
fighting, and he
house.
passed it on to his son.
What do you
So-
think, Marcia?
Yeah, Marcia, jump in.
I don't know. he did. I didn't even think that
Nerds.
hard about it. To be honest, I just was like, he lived his life. He had his son, and I mean, of course you're gonna put the tattoo on your son and everybody else in your family after knowing like what's out there.
You
but
just
it
say it's
would
a
make
family
sense that
crest.
he would train them to prepare in case they run up into anything and give them the choice, maybe. But I guess we'll never really know. But the biggest one was when for me was when Sam went into the car and it was right before he got sick, and he just grabbed onto the steering wheel and just started crying because he missed his brother so much, and he knew, like, I was like, oh, is he just gonna first I thought he was gonna kill himself in the car, like, what, this is just gonna kill, like, but just
Well, that ain't gonna work
But
out
no.
for anybody.
yeah, so I think like he knew he was going to be dying soon, and then I don't know. I thought that was there's so much there because like I can't imagine to have that strong of a bond with a person and then having to let them go, but knowing that they know they're going to see each other again because of their journey. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the
I
final
don't know.
the final montage though, like I'm even getting like a little teared up when he sits in the car. He's like, I think I'm gonna go for a ride, and he's like, I love this song,
Carry
And
On
I
Wayward Son
thought it was
starts
so
playing.
weird at the beginning. I'm like, oh, they're not doing it. What's going on? And I'm like, wait a minute, they have to be saving it.
And
for
then
the
it
end
switches
of
to
the show.
the other version of the song.
Which
And
is
Sam
actually
is
and then
done.
even
well done
and then
cover.
even
I was
another
like,
version
oh
of the
my
song by
God,
the end
it
of it
just
with
rips
additional
you
lyrics
up.
and stuff. And when I realized that Bobby saying the passage of time is different here, I'm like, he's gonna go out on a drive and he's gonna come back and he's gonna be there. And when he gets out of the car and Dean's just looking up in the distance and he's like, "Hey, Sammy," and he's like, "Dean," and they just hug. And I'm like, in my reaction, I hope you guys get to see it because I am like just leaking, man. And I'm like, I gotta call my brother,
See, like,
you know,
See, that's the thing.
because
I
I'm
don't
an
have a
older
brother,
brother.
so I
I'm
didn't
an older
have-
brother. You know?
I don't have that sort. I mean, I do. I didn't find out I had a brother until I was like 20, 25, but we're not close because of that. So I didn't have that sort of connection. But man, after 15 years, you form that bond with these guys. Like you're
that's the thing,
you're
like,
the
I was,
sibling.
I was telling you guys last week, like on my second rewatch of the final episode is where everything finally like hit home, and I legitimately just broke down. And it's like, especially on those like last like 10 minutes, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. It was especially bad, as I'm sure you felt, from editing, like having to watch it over
I
and
did.
over.
I
watched it over and over and
Chop
over.
it down every time it gets me.
It's like
It's
twisting a
nightmare
knife,
that
man.
just won't turn off.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think I could rewatch the end for like not at any time soon. I could probably rewatch the series, but I don't know if I can watch that last episode again for a while. It was hard. It was sad. Super sad. Almost as sad as a crying baby.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. All right, well, I think that signifies the end of this review. Thank you guys for watching. We will be doing a separate long-form podcast talking about Supernatural as a whole and what it meant to us over the years and stuff like that. Do like a separate sort of post-mortem on the channel. So we'll be doing that a little bit down the line, but we wanted to at least get a review of this final season out. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below on this final season if you watched it. And thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, click the like button and subscribe to make sure you don't miss other reviews going forward. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups all of a sudden, but excuse me. Until next time.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Fuego.
Oh, no, and I was going to say, if you like, what were your thoughts on the way they ended the show?
Yeah.
More so than anything in the comments below. Let us
What
know.
would you have done different?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
just be careful about spoiling. I don't know if you
Yeah,
should worry about spoilers or not in the comments. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks now.
Just be
so-
careful. Just be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah,
But
courteous.
until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Gracias, Jaime and Fuego.
Marcia Parker.
And remember,
Stay scared.
Yeah.